Introduction: The Crisis of Modern Comfort. Opening: the hidden crisis no one talks about. What if I told you that most people today aren't losing because they're lazy, or stupid, or untalented? They're losing quietly, silently, because they've never trained their mind. They wake up tired despite sleeping in. They scroll endlessly, compare constantly, and yet wonder why they feel stuck, anxious, unmotivated. We chase comfort, yet we feel exhausted. We avoid pain, yet suffer every single day. The trap of modern comfort. Let's get honest. We live in the most comfortable time in human history. Food delivered with one tap. Entertainment 24/7. No real threats. No real survival tests. And yet, depression, anxiety, burnout, all at record highs. Why? Because comfort, unchecked, becomes poison. It dulls your edge. It trains you to expect ease. And when real adversity hits, and it always does, most people collapse. 3. The Stoic Warning and a Path Forward. Long before smartphones or self-help books, the ancient Stoics knew a truth we've forgotten. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. This wasn't just philosophy, it was warrior training for the soul. Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life. It builds a mind that can handle anything. Not by escaping pain, but by facing it. Not by seeking comfort, but by mastering discipline, emotion, purpose. What this video is about. In this video, we're not here to hype you up with empty motivation. We're going to walk through 10 brutal Stoic laws, mental weapons forged in ancient Rome and still relevant today. These laws will challenge how you think, feel, and act. But if you apply them, not just watch them, they will rebuild your mental strength from the inside out. So don't just sit back. Like this video if you're ready to grow. Drop a comment when a law hits you hard. Share this with someone who needs it. And most importantly, don't skip a single part. Even one missing law could cost you clarity, courage, or peace in a moment that matters most. Let's begin. Body. The 10 brutal Stoic laws. Law 1. Embrace discomfort like a friend. Introduction: Rethinking discomfort in modern life. Let's begin with a question. When was the last time you intentionally did something uncomfortable, on purpose? Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. We prefer convenience, pleasure, predictability. But here's the paradox. Comfort feels good now, but costs you later. Discomfort feels painful now, but pays off in the long run. This isn't just motivational theory, it's ancient wisdom backed by psychological truth. Stoic perspective: discomfort as a teacher. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, lived through betrayal, illness, and war. He didn't shy away from adversity. He used it to refine his mind. His powerful quote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To the Stoics, obstacles weren't roadblocks, they were blueprints for growth. Seneca, another great Stoic, went further. He practiced voluntary hardship, eating plain food, sleeping on the floor, wearing rough clothes, not to punish himself, but to train for future storms. Why? Because if you only grow when life is easy, you're not really growing at all. 3. Practical insight: discomfort as daily training. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your mirror. your sparring partner, your personal trainer. Every small challenge becomes an opportunity. A cold shower tests your will. A difficult conversation sharpens your courage. A long workout when you're tired builds discipline. The modern world tells us, escape pain. The Stoic mindset replies, train for it. IV. Practice intentional discomfort. Here's your challenge. Choose one discomfort today. Not a big one, just one. Cold shower. Honest conversation. Sitting with boredom. Do it not for punishment, but for progress. And if you're serious about building an unshakable mind, drop this affirmation in the comments. Discomfort is my training ground. Because the only way to become unstoppable is to stop running. Law 2. Stop being owned by your emotions. Introduction: the hidden cost of emotional reactivity. Let's begin with a simple truth. The fastest way to lose power in any situation is to react emotionally. Think about it. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you explode. A comment online insults you, you spiral. A breakup happens, you beg, panic, self-destruct. In that moment, you're no longer in control. Your emotions are. The Stoic view: emotion as a choice, not a command. Epictetus once said, any person capable of angering you becomes your master. To the Stoics, emotional reactivity equals slavery. If someone else can press a button and make you lose control, you've surrendered your freedom. Marcus Aurelius went further. He reminded us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. In Stoic practice, it's not what happens that hurts you, it's how you interpret what happens. The solution? Shift from automatic reaction to conscious observation. 3. Practical insight: taking ownership of inner responses. You may not control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond within you. Here's a powerful 3-step process rooted in Stoic tradition. Pause. Create distance between trigger and reaction. Breathe. Anchor yourself in the present moment. Ask, is this useful? Before you respond or act. Emotional mastery is not emotional suppression. It's choosing when, how, and if an emotion deserves your energy. IV. Reclaim your inner authority. The next time you feel yourself triggered by a person, an event, or a comment, don't just react. Pause. Observe. Choose. That's how you become mentally unshakable, by owning your emotional world. If you're committed to this practice, comment below, I choose response over reaction. Because the one who controls their emotions controls their life. Law 3. Stop expecting fairness. Introduction: the hidden danger of expecting fairness. One of the most common lies we're taught, often without even realizing it, is that life should be fair. Work hard, and you should be rewarded. Be kind, and people will treat you well. Do the right thing, and everything will work out. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Life doesn't operate on your idea of fairness. The Stoic view: fairness is a human illusion, not a natural law. The ancient Stoics were brutally honest about this reality. They didn't expect life to be fair. They prepared for it to be harsh. Seneca, one of Rome's most powerful philosophers, wrote, "Even to live is an act of courage." This wasn't pessimism, it was mental armor. Because when you expect fairness and the world doesn't deliver, you break. But when you expect challenge, difficulty, even chaos, and you remain steady. That's strength. 3. Modern perspective. Results aren't always proportional to effort. In today's world, this lesson is more relevant than ever. Some people get promoted because they're likable, not competent. Some relationships fail despite deep love and effort. Some lives are lost randomly, without cause or explanation. The key isn't to become bitter, it's to become resilient. Instead of asking, "Why isn't this fair?" ask, "How can I move forward with strength and dignity anyway?" IV. Action framework, radical responsibility and forward motion. The Stoics taught a radical idea. It may not be your fault, but it is always your move. That means, use pain as fuel, not an excuse. Respond with discipline, not despair. Trade victimhood for clarity and courage. And most importantly, drop the need for life to be fair. It never was. It never will be. Versus choose strength over fairness. If this resonates, make it a personal code. Comment below. I move without fairness. Because those who succeed aren't waiting for justice, they're building resilience. And in a world that rewards power over pity, resilience is your edge. Law 4. Focus on what you can control. Introduction. The illusion of control is draining your power. Every day, most people waste energy on things they have absolutely no power over. What others think of them, how the economy shifts, what their ex posts online. This is not just inefficient, it's exhausting. Here's a hard truth. You're not overwhelmed because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because you're focusing on the wrong things. The Stoic framework, the control dichotomy. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was born a slave and became a teacher of emperors, said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." This idea sits at the heart of Stoic thought. There are only two categories in life. What you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Everything else, what people do, what they say, what the future holds. Modern science confirms this. Studies on stress show that perceived lack of control is a major driver of anxiety, burnout, and emotional fatigue. 3. Practical insight, shift focus, gain power. The Stoic method is simple, yet profound. Anytime you're faced with a challenge, ask, "Is this within my control?" If the answer is yes, take full ownership. Act decisively, and move forward. If the answer is no, let it go, not with apathy, but with clarity. This mental filter isn't just philosophical, it's functional. It protects your energy. It sharpens your focus. It builds inner calm, even in outer chaos. IV. Use your power where it matters. In a world full of noise, the ability to focus only on what you control is a superpower. Don't waste another day trying to bend the uncontrollable. Instead, master your mindset, your reactions, your behavior. That's where real power lives. If you're ready to shift your energy inward, comment below. I control my actions, not the outcome. Because the person who owns their response owns their life. Law 5. Practice voluntary hardship. Introduction. Discipline in the age of comfort. We live in the most comfortable time in human history. Temperature-controlled homes, food on demand, entertainment in our pockets 24/7. But comfort has a hidden cost. It dulls the spirit and weakens the will. In this age of excess, Discipline has become a superpower. And no one understood this better than the Stoics. The Stoic strategy, voluntary discomfort as training. Seneca, a Roman Stoic and advisor to emperors, believed that voluntary hardship was not suffering, it was training. He would intentionally eat bland food, wear rough clothes, and sleep on the floor, not because he enjoyed pain, but because he wanted to be ready when real adversity struck. Stoicism teaches us this. He who has prepared himself for poverty need not fear it. By exposing yourself to difficulty by choice, you train your mind to stop fearing the worst. 3. Modern application. Small challenges build big strength. You don't need to live like a monk to benefit from this principle. Start small. Take cold showers for 5 days straight. Fast for 16 to 24 hours once a week. Wake up before dawn. No snooze button. Say no to a comfort you rely on, sugar, social media, or luxury spending. These acts of controlled difficulty sharpen resilience. When the unexpected happens, job loss, heartbreak, illness, you don't break. You've trained for it. Train before the storm. Don't wait for life to test you, test yourself. The man or woman who chooses discomfort in times of peace becomes unbreakable in times of war. Ask yourself, how can I be stronger? Not, how can life be easier? Drop a comment below. I train my mind before life tests it. Remember, voluntary hardship isn't punishment. It's preparation. Law 6. Detach from outcomes. Love the process. Introduction. Why outcome obsession creates anxiety. We live in a results-driven culture. Promotions, likes, money, titles. Everything seems to depend on the outcome. But here's the brutal truth. The more you obsess over results, the more you suffer. Stoicism flips that script entirely. It teaches us to focus on the one thing we always control, the process. The Stoic view, freedom through non-attachment. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, said it best. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Results, like recognition, wealth, or success, are never fully in your hands. But effort? That's yours to own, every single day. Marcus Aurelius echoed this. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. In other words, train yourself to find meaning in the doing, not the result. 3. Modern application. Focus on process, not outcome. Whether you're building a business, writing a book, or going to the gym, detach from outcome-based thinking. Why? Because results are influenced by external variables, market trends, luck, timing, other people's opinions, but your process, your daily commitment, your attitude, your habits is internal. Here's the mindset shift. Show up each day as if the result is already guaranteed, and simply enjoy the work. Artists don't paint to sell. True athletes don't train just for trophies. They do it because they love the craft. You are not your results. You are your discipline. Fall in love with the process. Ask yourself, if no one ever applauded, would I still show up? That's where real strength begins. Detach from applause, from praise, from outcome. Focus on building your process like it's your identity, because it is. Drop a comment. I am the process. the result will follow. Remember, freedom starts when attachment ends. Are you acting for applause or for your principles? Law 7. Embrace death. Live with urgency. Introduction. The illusion of unlimited time. Most people live like they'll never die. We procrastinate. We postpone. We say, someday, as if time is infinite. But here's a truth the Stoics understood better than most. You could leave life at any moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, say, and think. This is not morbid, it's liberating. Because the moment you realize time is not guaranteed, you begin to live with clarity. The Stoic practice, memento mori. Remember you will die. Stoics didn't avoid thinking about death, they embraced it. Epictetus told his students to hold death in mind daily. Why? Not to live in fear, but to awaken to life. Seneca put it bluntly, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Time is the most valuable currency you'll ever own. Every moment spent scrolling, complaining, or overthinking is a moment you'll never get back. 3. Application. Living with urgency and purpose. Ask yourself, if today was your last full day alive, how differently would you act? Would you still hold that grudge? Delay that dream? Waste hours on meaningless distractions? Stoicism calls us to live with urgency, not anxiety. Urgency sharpens your focus. It elevates your decisions. It forces you to prioritize what truly matters. Your legacy won't be measured by perfection, but by presence. The greatest failure isn't rejection or a failed goal. It's a life spent sleepwalking. Choose to wake up, starting today. Stop assuming you have later. Write the book, say the words, build the thing, take the leap. Live like each moment counts, because it does. Drop a comment below. I will not waste my life. Remember, memento mori is not about dying. It's about finally starting to live. Law 8. Be a warrior for virtue, not approval. Introduction. The trap of approval. Let's face it, most people live for validation. We chase likes, followers, applause, and call it success. But here's the catch. Approval is addictive, and it's never permanent. The Stoics understood this long before social media ever existed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." In a world obsessed with performance, the Stoic walks a different path, the path of virtue. Core principle. Virtue over popularity. Stoicism isn't about appearing good, it's about being good. It's about doing what's right, even when no one sees. Seneca put it clearly, "I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world were to see." That's not a call to perform, it's a call to integrity. True strength means choosing what's right over what's easy, over what's popular, over what wins applause. Because approval fades, but character compounds. 3. Real-world application. From external to internal compass. Here's the key question. Am I doing this because it's right, or because I want to be liked? If your compass is set by the crowd, you'll constantly shift with the wind. But if it's grounded in virtue, honesty, courage, humility, you become unshakable. In your job, relationships, or public image, choose principle, not performance. Paradoxically, when you stop seeking approval, you gain something better: respect, quiet, enduring, and earned. not handed out for free. IV. Choose the warrior's path. Today, you have two choices. Be someone who conforms for applause, or be someone who stands for what's right, even in silence. One path fades, the other builds legacy. Drop this in the comments. I choose virtue over approval. Because when you live by virtue, you don't need the crowd to stand tall. Are you acting for applause or for your principles? Law 9. Say no to the noise. Protect your inner fortress. Introduction. Your mind is not a public park. In today's world, your attention is under siege. Every scroll, every notification, every opinion you didn't ask for, it all invades your mental space like uninvited guests tracking mud through your home. But here's the Stoic truth. Your mind is your temple. Stop letting everyone track mud into it. We live in the age of noise, news cycles, social media drama, constant advertising, and endless digital distractions. And as a result, most people are mentally exhausted, emotionally reactive, and spiritually lost. If you feel like you're constantly overwhelmed, it's not a personal failure. It's a systemic trap, and the Stoics showed us how to escape it. Main idea: control your inputs to master your outputs. The Stoics believed that clarity comes from within, not from outside consensus. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, you have to disconnect from the crowd if you want to reconnect with yourself. Marcus Aurelius, during the collapse of Rome, didn't look to the noise for answers. He turned inward. He wrote meditations not for applause, but for alignment with truth, discipline, and peace. Your mind is your fortress. But if you leave the gates wide open, don't be surprised when chaos walks in. 3. Practical action. Become the gatekeeper of your mind. Unfollow content that doesn't inspire or grow you. Turn off notifications, especially the ones that train you to react. Schedule silence. 1 hour a day with no phone, no noise, just thinking, journaling, or breathing. Replace digital chaos with soul-deep rituals, meditation, reading, nature, solitude. Because if you don't protect your mind, someone else will program it for you. IV. Guard your inner world like a warrior. Let this be your mantra. My attention is my most valuable currency. I will not spend it on garbage. Be ruthless with what you allow in. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not every voice deserves your focus. Build a stronghold within. Be the gatekeeper of your mind. Because in a world of noise, clarity is your superpower. Law 10. Own your story. Rewrite the narrative. Introduction. You are not your past. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt chained to your past? A mistake you made, a failure that haunts you, a story you keep telling yourself over and over again. If so, you're not alone. Most people walk through life believing their past defines their future. But the Stoics saw things differently. They understood one timeless truth. You are not your past. You are the author of your next chapter. Your story isn't over. It's just unwritten. Main insight: pain is not a prison. It's potential. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." That means reality is not fixed. It's formed by the meaning you give it. Take Seneca, for example. He lost his son. He was exiled. He was ordered to take his own life by a corrupt emperor. But he didn't become bitter or broken. Instead, he became one of the most powerful philosophers in history. Stoicism doesn't ask you to forget your past. It challenges you to redefine it. What if the worst thing that ever happened to you wasn't a curse, but a calling? Not the end of your story, but the training ground for the warrior you're becoming? 3. Practical actions. Reclaim the pen. Rewrite the narrative. Reframe your pain. Write out the story you've been telling yourself, and rewrite it from the perspective of growth, not victimhood. Ask this Stoic question: if this happened for me instead of to me, what would it be teaching me? Use the past as fuel. Let the betrayal drive your boundaries. Let the failure sharpen your focus. You don't need to erase your history. You just need to own it and write the next page with courage. IV. Stop camping in old wounds. Here's your final Stoic reminder. The past is a place of reference, not residence. Stop camping in your old wounds. Start building your legacy. You are not broken. You are becoming. Don't wait for permission. Pick up the pen. Write your redemption. Because the most powerful story is the one you choose to live next. If this message sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and hit subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to fuel your journey. Your transformation is just beginning. Let's walk this path together.